Hey guys, Stay Patient here to have a look through this week's PSN sales on the North American store. Now, I hate to say it, but I'm really starting to understand why you guys keep moaning about it because it's just getting worse and worse. On a week during which we have a really good Easter sale on the European store, you guys are sat here with this. This is quite a sad looking collection of deals. Obviously, I was hoping that when I clicked on the all deals section, it would come up with loads of great games. But this is possibly the worst sale I've seen so far, and it's really getting quite poor for you guys in the US. I do feel sorry for you. We're just going to have a quick look at Elder Scrolls here. This is all Tamriel Edition, you know, the online Elder Scrolls stuff. I mean, it's an Elder Scrolls sale, but there's nothing related to Skyrim here. It's all the online game, which is, of course, pretty much impossible to platinum. Unless, I don't know, you have a bunch of friends and you have literally the ability to stay up all day every day for an entire week, and even then you might not earn the trophies. So that's really not of any interest to trophy hunters necessarily. We're going to click on the all deals section here, and there's so little to cover that this is going to pretty much end up being a rant video rather than a sale review, because usually I just go through the first few pages and skip out all the other stuff. But I'm just going to show you that, you know, when we go on the European sales, there's very little when it comes to fiddly little add-ons and themes and avatars and stuff. But whenever I come on the US sales over the last few weeks, all we've had pretty much is all this stuff that no one cares about. I mean, people might buy it, sure, but it's not interesting. I mean, the whole idea of a weekly sale, of course, there might be other stuff on sale on the store that's like an ongoing discount or PS Plus discounts or whatever. But the whole point of a weekly sale is to excite people so that when we jump on, we're kind of looking through, we're anticipating what might be there, we're hopefully buying a bunch of stuff. But when you come on the US sale, you've literally got pages of themes, avatars, dynamic themes. This isn't the kind of stuff that excites people. So there's 7 pages in this sale, right? Page 7 is all themes and avatars. Page 6 is all themes and avatars. Page 5... Let's have a look. Page 5 is all themes and avatars. This is getting really poor. I mean, the European sale has often got several dozen pages to the point where I can't even look through it all, you know? When I do the videos, I don't have enough time to cover everything. And it's all games. There's very little, like right up until the final page, it's all games. Whereas on here, I mean, page 4 even. Look at this, dynamic themes. What have we got? All dynamic themes. There's one game here, the Keeper of 4 Elements. I mean, what the heck is that, you know? It's 150, but I mean, all the rest of this page, again, page 4, dynamic themes. And I think even page 3, yep, 7 pages, all the way back to page 3, we've got dynamic themes, and I think it starts showing up games right at the top here. So this week, we basically have 2 pages of games, but even those aren't all games. Most of it's like little fiddly bits of DLC, and all the rest, we've got 5 pages of just pointless little, almost like microtransactions, almost like PSN microtransactions, you know? Now, of course, I can't really complain because I'm in Europe, so I get to benefit from the great sales that we receive. But I am complaining on behalf of you guys because I really feel sorry for you. There's nothing to get excited about. Even from the games that are here, it's a really poor showing. We're just going to scan through the stuff that is here. I am going to point out that the Treasures of Montezuma 4 has a separate trophy list on PS4 and Vita. The PS Vita version does share a trophy list with the PS3 version, but if you check the PSN profiles completions here, the PS3 and Vita version is much higher than the PS4 version, and the reason for that is because the touchscreen of the PS Vita does make the game a lot easier. So the trophies are easier. This is actually an easy enough trophy set. It does have a platinum as well, but on Vita it's nice and straightforward. On PS4 it's quite difficult. If you look at the voting thread, there are people voting for 2 and 3, and then there are people voting for 8 and 9, and there's nothing in between. And that's because obviously the 8 and 9 votes played it on PS4, and the 2 and 3 votes played it on Vita. So if you are looking for a reasonably easy, but I think rather long-winded, sort of puzzle-based PS Vita Platinum, then this might be worth checking out, 250. But, you know, we're really grasping at straws here because there's very little to discuss. We've got a few games with no platinums. Most of them are actually very difficult. 1 or 2 of them aren't too bad. I think Mei Yong is an easy one, but it's like, I mean, it's 6 to 10 hours to complete. And it's like, well, no one really likes Mahjong. I don't even remember what the game is. I know I've played it in some other games as a mini game within the game, but people tend to hate it. They don't quite understand it. I can't remember how it plays. Maybe I'd enjoy it if I played it, but there's so many of these Mahjong games, and it just makes me think, why would you play a game that you're not going to enjoy that doesn't have a platinum and is going to still take you as long as, or even longer than, a lot of easy platinums that are out there? So I don't really know why we're mentioning it, to be honest, but it's just something to talk about. As you can see, we're kind of working backwards here. On page 2, we do have Albedo Eyes from Outer Space. Now, this isn't a very good game at all. It's very clunky, but it is an easy platinum, and it can be done. It can actually be done in an hour. Most people would say 3 hours, but you can finish it in 1 hour, and I do have a guide on my channel, so if you want to check that out and fly through a plat, it does have a stacking list between America and Europe as well, so if you play both versions, you can earn the platinum twice, but it is a painful game to play, so I'm not exactly recommending it, but out of all the games in this sale, it is probably the easiest platinum. Last week we spoke about the Doodle Trilogy here. You get all 3 games on PS4, then you can buy them separately for PS3 and Vita as well, and the trophies do stack. There's no platinums, but they're pretty easy and they're pretty quick as well. I have heard people say that they're terrible games. I haven't actually played them myself, so you might want to look out for that. Maybe check out some reviews or something, but I did have someone mention to me recently actually that they bought it when it was on sale last week, and they really hated it, but yeah, easy, quick, 100% games. You could get 9 trophy sets from buying all 3 of these. Then the rest of the games on this page are basically 100% games. There might be 1 or 2 plats, but not that I can remember. It's all pretty fiddly stuff. So let's go to page 1, and you would expect the first page to be full of awesome stuff, like all the best stuff, maybe some AAA games. But when we scroll down through, you'll notice that it's pretty much little fiddly bits of DLC. It's not even like season passes or proper story DLCs. There are 1 or 2, I think maybe Vermintide for the Warhammer, the recent Warhammer game. We do have quite a bit of VR stuff actually, but most of it, look, is like Warframe, War Thunder DLC. We've got some like costumes and stuff for Dead or Alive. A couple of games here. We've got Snow Motor Racing Freedom, which is actually only out this week, I think. We spoke about it during this week's trophy update. We don't know what the trophy is going to be like yet. There's a couple that haven't been earned by anyone. They're like time trial based ones, so it could be tricky. But it's the kind of game that struck me as not being worth $30. It's an indie game, it looked quite cheap. It looked okay, it looked quite fun, but it's not like a high budget game. So I think that's probably why they've dropped it down almost straight away, because they realise that it's not worth $30. But rather than drop the price permanently, it kind of, at least it looks like you're getting a bargain if the usual price is 30 and it's been dropped down rather than dropping the price permanently. We've got Aqua Motor Racing Utopia. In fact, is this from the same developer? I think it must be. Let's have a look. I've only just sort of picked up on that. Zorbix AB. It's got a very similar name, a very similar icon. I'm betting, yeah, okay. So I think this is probably going to be quite a tricky one, because the Aqua one has got quite a low completion rating. I think there are some tough trophies on that. So although Riptide GP2 was fun and easy, this one hasn't followed suit. Obviously, it's a different developer, but it's sometimes your mind kind of associates genres with easy platinums, but that's not the case here. We do have Battlefront on offer, but although this is the deluxe edition, all that means is that you're getting a few fiddly little bits of in-game stuff. You're not getting the season pass, so don't get fooled by that. All you're getting is like early access basically to some of the unlockable items, the weapons and power-ups and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's worth really spending that much extra, because it's down here for $10, I think. Yeah, $10 just for the game. And we've got the deluxe edition, another $5 for a weapon and a few power-ups that you can unlock in the game anyway. So I don't know if that's really worth it, but I mean, it's not an easy platinum, but it's not impossible, it's quite fun as well. Now we've got basically a bunch of VR stuff, I think, around here. We've got Sub-Level Zero, we've got Merville's, a VR game, we've got Tethered. Most of these, though, are just short trophy lists, no platinums. There's not a lot of feedback on some of them because they're quite new. Some of them might be straightforward, but I looked through and I did look at the guides for them and PSN profile completion percentages, and nothing stood out to me. That's what I usually do, is I research everything, but I don't talk about everything. I just talk about the things that kind of stood out to me as highlights, and there's really nothing on this page. Look at this, it's all like outfits for Dead or Alive 5, and we do have Sword Coast Legends. Now, this is an odd one because there's one guy on PlayStationTrophies.org who has left a comment on the difficulty rating and the estimated time to completion, and he says that it's actually a lot easier than you might imagine because it's got a very low completion percentage on PSNprofiles.com. It's an RPG, I believe, and he's basically said that you can almost like cheese it, so you can play on the easiest setting, which makes it really easy. You do need to finish the game, I think, or finish the last boss on hard, but you can just do that final bit on hard, change the difficulty at the end, and you can get friends in to help you. I don't really know if what he said is utterly reliable, because maybe if it was, then more people would have platted it, but I think probably it's the kind of game that people just got sick of. I haven't tried it, I haven't even watched any footage of it, to be honest, so it might be a terrible game, but if you are playing it, or if you are, if you've looked into it and it looks like your kind of thing and you want to pick it up, then obviously it's very cheap here. It might be a lot of content for a decent price, and I do recommend just reading, the comment on PlayStationTrophies.org, because it did have a couple of helpful tips there. But that's basically it, guys. I mean, this is probably the worst sale I've ever seen on any PSN store from any region. It's really poor, and I really do feel sorry for you guys in America. Hopefully you can open up a European account and jump on the EU sales or the UK sale and kind of buy some bargains there, because we get tons of easy platinums over here. So at some point over the next few weeks, I will be doing a how to be a trophy hunter video on opening foreign accounts and, adding funds to them and things like that. But here's me, Stay Patient, saying I'm really sorry that this is continuing. I reckon it's going to get to the point where you guys should really band together and start a petition or like a letter writing campaign or something, because this is just getting ridiculous. This sale is absolutely abysmal. But anyway, no matter how bad it is, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to hit the dislike button, because I totally understand. I understand you're not disliking the video necessarily, you're disliking the sale, and it'd be quite interesting to see how many dislikes we can get based on how terrible the sale is. But either way, have a great week, guys, and I'll catch you very soon. Cheers.